I'm so glad you came in. Please take a seat. I'll be right with you in just a moment. I see that you've returned today. Are you here for another appointment? Alright. Let me see. Yep, there you are. And it looks like you're here today for an 11:11 portal appointment. This is a really auspicious time that you came. The energies on this day are growing and swelling into something quite magnificent. Now I see here that you would like some singing bowl cleansing, followed by some crystal healing. Is that correct? Alright then, well, let's get started. Do you understand what 11:11 is about? The number 1 in numerology is very important, meaning new beginnings. So 11 is a master number created from 2 ones. It's a very powerful symbol of new beginnings and abundance. And then when you have a day like today, in which there are 2 11s in the date, that energy is amplified and turned into what we call a portal, where we can put in our manifestations, our wishes, our dreams out to the universe, take advantage of that energy to shape our dreams into reality. Do you have any specific dreams that you have in mind that you would like to pursue? I can write them down for you if you would like, and the processes that we will go through today will hopefully make those dreams come true much faster. Okay then. You said you had 3 dreams? An excellent number. What was your first one? Mm-hmm. That's a really good one. I like it. What was your second one? Okay, that's a really good one to pursue, I think. And then your third one. Alright, I really like that one too. You've got some really good goals set for yourself. Okay. So now I am going to take this page out. Yes, writing down your intentions and goals is very important for manifesting. If you have an idea of what you wish for, but you haven't written it down, it remains a bit shapeless and formless, and you might have it in your mind, but it can become a little bit more difficult to remember it. But writing it down makes it something real, something tangible that you want to pursue. It makes it easier to remember what it is that you are going for. Alright, so this is your intention note. Now, what I'd like you to do after this appointment is you're going to release it to the universe in some form or manner. You can fold it into a paper airplane and let it fly away. You can burn it, but I would caution you to be a little careful if you're going to do it that way. You can bury it, or you can throw it into the sea. But just a way to release it into the universe. Now we will begin with a cleansing sound bowl. Now this tone can be a little bit high, but hopefully it will be nice and soothing to start off with. And sound can be very cleansing, especially at very specific frequencies. So we're going to start off by clearing the air and preparing for the portal energy to come in. Mm-hmm. So this is a throat chakra bowl specifically. I feel like I have a fairly strong connection to the throat chakra myself, so this bowl I believe is the most powerful for me to use. Alright, so 11:11 is an excellent time for new beginnings and abundance. We're going to start with your crystal healing, and first I'm going to use some clear quartz, a very classic master healer. You might have heard about it said as such. It's excellent for cleansing and clearing, as well as amplifying other crystals as well. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to begin by brushing back and forth. And then we're going to go back up and sweep it down. What we're essentially doing is clearing your aura of any residual negative energy. And then we can begin with the other stones to invoke the positive energies that you want to bring in. Alrighty, how are you feeling? I know that clear quartz isn't one that I actually use that often because I tend to gravitate towards the other crystals, the more exciting ones, if you will, more colorful ones. But I think clear crystal is special and unique in its own way. I think partly because, again, it is that master healer. It works as an amplifier and a purifier. So it might be a little boring to some, but it's very crucial. Next, we're going to work on abundance. So we're going to be using crystals that help with abundance. And you can see here I have my little citrine cluster. You might notice that the color is kind of like a burnt orange, and this is because this is a heat-treated citrine. There are, of course, natural citrines out on the market, but the majority of it tends to use heat-treated citrine. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it's any less powerful, and I feel like we shouldn't shy away from using heat-treated citrine just as we use natural citrine. We want to give all of our love to all of the stones. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to wave it around your entire form, kind of in a circle around your aura and going in a spiral inwards so that we're absorbing all all of that lovely abundance, manifestation vibes. And one more time, 3 is a really important number, and I like to work in threes. Alrighty, so that was citrine, a very classic stone of abundance and higher energy. Next, I'm actually going to use some moss agate chips. Moss agate has to do more with growing things. So when you're trying to grow your wealth and abundance, this is an excellent stone to use. Now you might be wondering, Violin, how are you going to use these when they are chips and not stones like the ones I just used? Are you going to make a crystal grid? I am not actually. Have you noticed that the sound of crystals clinking together sounds a little bit like money almost? It's a bit of an unconventional method, I think, but I like it. I think it's kind of cute. To set these here for the moment. I'm going to wave this around. fun sound, isn't it? My best to be careful. I did spill a bottle of crystals once by accident. I had been trying to get the cork off, but it wasn't cooperating very well. And when I finally got it off, it kind of exploded all the crystals everywhere. I had to go hunting down for all the little chips. Let me see if I can find you some good pieces to look at. Don't know if you can see it. It's kind of cool, isn't it? See, this one has more white to it. And this one's quite a dark green. It's such a nice color. Here's a fun fact. There's another type of agate that's similar to moss agate, and it's called tree agate. You can differentiate between the two by looking to see whether it's opaque or translucent, because moss agate is more translucent and tree agate is more opaque. It feels like a very gentle and soothing stone too, don't you think? Alrighty, so next we are going to get into the stones that are more suited towards new beginnings. First, we're going to go with this lovely amazonite with smoky quartz in it. Now, smoky quartz is excellent for purification, and amazonite is wonderful for kickstarting new beginnings. I think this is quite a good combination for the 1111 portal. Do you see its striations? It kind of looks a little bit like a blue tiger, don't you think? But it also feels like it's got the ocean inside of it as well. this one, I'm going to wrap all the way around your face. It feels quite cool to the touch, quite nice. I think you'll like it. Isn't it so pretty? I feel like I don't work with this one as often, but it's kind of reliable in its own way, isn't it? Next, I had the thought that perhaps we should work with some labradorite. However, this is not a beginner stone. This is not necessarily a stone that somebody who's starting out with their crystal journey necessarily wants to pick up right away, because it is quite powerful. Not as powerful as moldavite, but it definitely is rather powerful. It's helpful for soul growth and shadow work, especially. You would like to try it? Okay, let me know if you're feeling any adverse effects, alright? And if you do, I'll stop right away with it. Okay. So I have here this labradorite palm stone. It's quite lovely. Labradorite has some wonderful shimmer. Let's see if I can get it to catch the light. I think the other side has those rainbows. It's a very pretty stone. Did you know that there is a variety of labradorite? I think it's called spectralite, and it looks like it has very tiny flashes of blue in it. It's very beautiful. It's a feldspar, actually. Labradorite is from the feldspar family, which includes moonstone and rainbow moonstone, which, funnily enough, is not a moonstone itself, but a white variety of labradorite. The more you know. So for this one, I think I'm going to use it. Let's see if I can get some flashes to come your way. Lights are probably not the best position for that. But I want you to look at it. What comes to mind when you think of new beginnings labradorite is a very important stone because when it comes to new beginnings, it requires you to dig deep and cleanse what no longer serves you, to go through that which is no longer helping you. Is there anything you can think of that you would appreciate letting go in this portal? Let it all be flushed away by the power of labradorite, and let yourself be transformed. Again, powerful stone to work with. How are you feeling? Okay, you took that pretty well, I think, which is really nice. I know that when I first got my labradorite, I was concerned about how I'd react to it. But when I saw this one, I just felt like it was just right. So I suppose that says a lot about my own needs. Very happy to help others with it, though. Next, I would like to use some celestite. Now, this one is more oriented towards divine communication. Its name kind of sounds similar to celestial, having to do with the heavens and the angels. But sometimes you need a little divine kickstart in order to help you through new beginnings. It's got a very calming color to it, doesn't it? This is one of my favorite crystals, you see. One of the ones that I fell in love with when I first began this shop. I have several specimens of it, by the way, but I think for this one, we're going to be using this point. And we're going to draw some blessings on you. Going to make some symbols, and you can think of it as blessings. Celestite is one of my favorites to work with. I hope you really enjoyed working with it too. Yes, it is a higher vibration stone, which I think the grounding of the labradorite balances out wonderfully, and the moss agate. But yes, it is definitely a very high vibrational stone, and it is helpful for communicating with the divine. Lastly, I would like to use some moonstone. Now, this palm stone, I believe, is actually sunstone and moonstone. You can see it's got a bit of a blue flash to it. This is an interesting thing that I learned. Moonstone, true moonstone, only has, you see the shimmering, right? This golden shimmer. Moonstone typically only has that kind of shimmer, whereas the blue flash is more of a labradorite sort of thing. Now, moonstone is excellent for transitions. It's also powered by the light of the moon as well. So that is why I want to use this for you to help take in and seal in those manifestation energies of the portal. I'm just going to go around your aura again, kind of like we did with the clear quartz, and I'm going to go around and again kind of just seal those energies in. Making manifestation energy, abundance, and the new beginnings absorbed into your aura. How do you feel? Good, good. I always hope that if nothing else, my clients take away at least a little bit of light, at least a little bit of healing, or at least a lightening of their burdens. Lastly, I have here some crystal bracelets, and I think I'd like to give you some as a gift and a reminder to help you with manifesting your dreams. Let me see. Now this one is labradorite. It might possibly, considering that you actually reacted quite well with it. You might be able to handle a bracelet. What do you think? It is very pretty, isn't it? You see here? See if I can get the beads to flash. Isn't it so pretty? To me, it feels rather relaxing, almost very grounding too. You need something nice and grounding. This one is Green Aventurine. This one is a very classic stone of wealth and abundance, kind of like citrine. These are probably two of the ones that you might think of when you think of crystals that have to do with wealth and abundance. This one's also excellent for luck as well. And sometimes you need a little bit of luck in order to pursue abundance. So I think this will be a good one for you. It looks like the moss agate one has chosen you. I think here you can get a better idea of what moss agate looks like as opposed to the chips. I personally quite like this bracelet. Again, it has a more grounded energy to it, an excellent blend of grounded and high vibrational energy. And I also just love the colors as well. It is definitely a different color than the aventurine. It's a bit of a more foresty green as opposed to the aventurine. But you can feel free to either wear one or the other, or both, whenever you want. Yes, I like quite this one too. I also have a moss agate heart that I'm quite fond of. I wear as a pendant. Of course, we'd be a little remiss not to offer some clear quartz as an amplifier. Not sure I would put this one with a labradorite quite yet until you've gotten used to the labradorite's energies. And for the labradorite, I would recommend wearing it a little bit at a day for slightly increasing increments of time until you're more used to it. Of course, clear quartz, excellent purifier and amplifier. What else? Yes, I do quite love my crystal bracelets. It's a very easy way of working with crystals, you see. I can wear them on my arms, and it feels like I'm carrying the blessings or the energies that I would like to have with me. They also also feel really nice on my skin. And they make such delightful sounds too. There was one. Yes. So this one is a moonstone bracelet. Now this is one that I personally, who has ADHD, find very helpful because, again, it's excellent for transitions, and for those of us who find it difficult to stop working on one task and start working on a different task, this stone's energies are they really truly assist with that sort of thing. It's also an excellent stone, I said, for new beginnings, and it's also imbued with the power of the moon, which is an excellent energy to have when you're working for manifestation. Alright, then I will put this one with the others. We have quite a nice set going, I think, right? But I feel like it's missing something. It has some good color, some good neutrals. What are we missing? I'm sorry, what was that? That is an excellent question. So, there are some ways that people do like to wear crystal bracelets on their wrists. Some people ascribe to the method of your non-dominant hand is your receiving hand and your dominant hand is your giving hand. So your dominant hand receives the energy from the crystal bracelets that the crystal bracelets pull in, and then your dominant hand gives the energy from the crystal bracelets. So for example, you might, if you want to receive certain energies, you might wear perhaps like rose quartz, for example, is an excellent one to receive. What else? What's a nice soothing stone? Probably aquamarine as well. You might wear those on your left wrist, and then so your left wrist will carry typically the higher vibrational stones, and then your right wrist will carry the lower vibrational stones. So perhaps black tourmaline, blue kyanite, those sorts of things. And I have also heard people say that the size of the bracelet is important for which side you're wearing it as well. So people say that the larger bracelets, kind of like this one, you want to wear on your left wrist, or your non-dominant wrist, I mean, because it's helpful for further absorbing and receiving the energies that the stone draws in. And then the dominant wrist, where you're wearing those lower vibrational stones, is supposed to be a smaller stone bracelet, so that it is kind of like more controlled in sending out those energies. But it really all depends on what you feel is best, and I personally have my own system for wearing my bracelets. So you see here, these are my bracelets that I'm wearing today, and I have citrine on the top. This is celestite, and then I have sodalite here on the bottom. This is my left wrist, and then on my right wrist I have golden healer, white jade, and tanzanite. Now you may be wondering, what exactly is your system for wearing your bracelets? And mine typically is, I like go in rainbow order, right, with the first colors of the rainbow, like red and yellow, closer to my hand, and the last colors of the rainbow, like blue and purple, closer to my elbow. I also like to put lighter colors closer to my hand and darker colors closer to my elbow. Finally, I always like to wear at least 3 bracelets on each wrist, a minimum of 3, at least on my right wrist, because I feel like my right wrist, as my dominant wrist, is the wrist that I use the most. And I also typically tend to have a watch on this wrist as well, so this one has more room for more bracelets. But I like to wear at least 3 bracelets, and the middle bracelet is the one with the bigger stones, so that the 2 outer bracelets that have smaller stones bracket the one with bigger stones. Does that make any sense? So my system is a little different from other people's systems, but it's still a system all the same. And when you wear your bracelets, I think you will figure out which system you'll come up with. You'll figure out your own system. You'll feel which bracelets tend to gravitate toward which wrists, and which ones you feel like that you shouldn't wear on that particular wrist. And you'll also figure out the order as well of how you want to wear your bracelets. And I think, looking at this, I said it needed another pop of color. And as we know, citrine is an excellent stone for abundance. How does that look? I think it looks quite nice. The yellow and the green go well together, I believe, and then the white and the gray add some neutral colors to it. See, this is how I like to put it. I like to put it in rainbow order and order of light to dark. I like it too. I think these bracelets will serve you well this upcoming year. Some care instructions for them. These ones in particular should be okay to go in water, but you have to be careful when you're cleansing crystals in water because some of them are not safe to put in water. Either they dissolve or they make something toxic, but these ones should be okay to put in water. Another way you can cleanse them is by putting them in moonlight, and the full moon is especially excellent for cleansing crystals because that's when its power is strongest. Now, that doesn't mean that any other phases of the moon don't have power as well. It's just that people tend to prefer the light of the full moon for maximum efficiency. You can also use selenite to cleanse them, but selenite, even though it is considered a self-cleansing stone, I believe still needs to be cleansed every once in a while. It just doesn't need to be cleansed quite as often as some crystals, or it might need cleansing more often depending on how often you cleanse your crystals with it. So there's those for you. I hope you enjoyed your appointment. Of course, if you want to, you can contact me by that email that you used to set the appointment. You can feel free to leave a review if you want. And I do hope to see you sometime soon. Go ahead and first thing when you get home, before you put those bracelets on, make sure to cleanse them, okay? You want to make sure that you're not absorbing anybody else's energy, including my own, because I do cleanse my crystals before I use them, but it is always important to cleanse crystals when you first acquire them, because you don't know what energy they have picked up necessarily on their journey to you. then secondly, again, about note for all your goals and intentions. Feel free to let it go in some shape or form. You can bury it, you can tear it up and throw it into the trash, you can burn it, you can pull it into a paper airplane and set it flying, you can drop it into the sea, but just a way to put your dreams and wishes out into the universe. I hope that you have a lovely day today and a lovely rest of your days, and I will see you next time. Stay sparkling.